Part 10. Fantasy, Invincible from the Holy Son of the Demon Section Author, 10 Miles. Chapter 91. One of the Prayers of the Evil Cultivator. You can watch the deduction system of evil cultivation. What does that mean? This ancient evil immortal stone is equivalent to Zhang Chen's understanding of the origin of the immortal way when he was in the ancient immortal city. Zhang Chen relied on his understanding of the origin of the immortal way to find a way to reach the sky, and his cultivation realm had no bottlenecks. Now, let him deduce the evil immortal system from this ancient evil immortal stone. That would break the evil cultivation system from the source, as he had thought before. Immediately, without any hesitation, Zhang Chen concentrated his mind and carefully refined the ancient evil immortal stone. At this moment, Zhang Chen felt that his entire mind had entered a boundless darkness. It cannot sense time, nor can it sense life, just like a dead universe with no life. After an unknown amount of time, there seemed to be some special substance in the endless darkness. Zhang Chen could sense that something dark and difficult to sense was flowing around him. This made Zhang Chen feel like he wanted to drift in the river right now. Although I couldn't see anything, I could still feel dark matter floating around me. Zhang Chen's spirit perked up, and he immediately gathered his energy and carefully sensed and captured it. In Zhang Chen's concentrated perception, time passed slowly. At this time, my fifth ancestral land. On ancient altar. Do you mean that after Zhang Chen was attacked and his arm was chopped off, his flesh and blood never regenerated? When they heard Lu Wire and Lu Caier, the three demonic ancestors all looked shocked. They had heard about the battle process when they brought the Lu Caier sisters back from the ancient Yuan fairyland. But after some inquiring, they all found out after there was no trace of those mysterious black-clothed creatures, the three demonic ancestors summoned Lu Caier and the two of them again. This careful interrogation actually revealed details that they had ignored before. From having his arm chopped off to being taken away by the Taisha demon sect, Zhang Chen's broken arm was not regenerated. Lu Wire nodded and said, "By the way, the place where Zhang Chen's severed arm was chopped off has been stained with extremely weird Taoism. It seems that it cannot expel the refining." Lu Caier seemed to think of something and then said, "Okay, you go down. If you still remember anything, remember to come and report it." After a moment of silence, the three demonic ancestors asked Lu Caier to leave. Could it be that it was really the work of evil cultivators, as reported in Tianyu? The demon Qi ancestor on the left spoke in a deep voice with a solemn tone. If in the past, they would not have been able to handle the news of evil cultivators coming from the Taisha demon sect. But those mysterious black-robed creatures actually let their 9 ancestors, there is no trace at all. This explains the problem. Combining the two, it seems that it is not impossible. After all, judging from the deduction results, the seal has indeed become loose. From the current point of view, what the evil cultivators fear the most is the rise of the ancient immortal court. Because once the ancient immortal court rises, it is very likely that the seal will be strengthened again. Zhang Chen once appeared in the ancient immortal court, and he is the only one among the 5 great descendants known to the world. It does make sense for the evil cultivator to take action and take the opportunity to get rid of Zhang Chen and prevent the rise of the ancient immortal court. The demonic ancestor in the middle slowly opened his mouth and expressed his own opinion. If this is the case, then we must prepare early. The demonic ancestor on the right heard this and said, "The strange source and the evil clan outside the world are a major event that can overturn all the heavens and realms. In the early days of the immortal ancient era, it was because of the suppression of the ancient immortal court that the seal was not destroyed. Break open. In this life, no orthodoxy can compare with the ancient immortal court. Naturally, they must help Zhang Chen become the successor of the ancient immortal court, and let the ancient immortal court rise again. Okay, Zhang Chen's matter, then let's clarify it directly in the ancestral land, and I will personally go and talk to Taisha demon sect. The demonic ancestor on the left had obviously had this idea for a long time. His figure flickered and disappeared. The descendants of the ancestral land have always been inhabited by capable people. Tianwu and other juniors are afraid that they will not listen. It has been said that the capable ones will win, so just have a fight. The winner is the king, and the loser is speechless. The two demonic ancestors dispersed after talking to each other. Soon, the news spread in Tianyu that Zhang Chen, the Taisha demon's son, was a member of the ancient Zhang clan. The entire fifth ancestor, the ground was boiling because of this. Because I heard from several ancestors that they wanted to welcome Zhang Chen back and become a contemporary successor of the ancestral land. After the news of the fifth ancestral land spread, it naturally spread quickly when we arrived at the other 8 ancestral lands. News about Zhang Chen suddenly became more noisy and turbulent in the 9 ancestral lands. More than 2 months have passed since the end of Guyuan Wonderland. The noise in the world gradually subsided. Of course, this is only on the surface. The undercurrent underneath is even more ferocious than before. The undercurrents are pushing in 2 directions. The first direction is those mysterious black-clothed creatures. Because there is news that they are related to the evil cultivators that have disappeared since the ancient immortal era. After the news spread, the giants and overlords of the 9 great ancestral lands in the heavens and the great realms all responded with awe. The source of strangeness and the evil clan outside the world are no joke. If it really comes back again, the entire world will be overturned. Especially when there were reports from the 9 ancestral lands that the collapse of the ancient immortal court was related to evil cultivators, the sense of urgency among the major giants became even more serious. The second direction is naturally the Taisha demon's son, Zhang Chen. The fairy fate that Zhang Chen triggered in Guyuan Fairyland has also been found out clearly. That ancient temple is the ancient temple of the 7 immortals that has been passed down in the immortal realm since ancient times. The 7 immortals ancient temple is one of the traditions that protects the inheritance of the ancient immortals. In other words, Zhang Chen became one of the descendants of the ancient immortal court in the ancient Yuan Fairyland. In addition, rumors about the 5th ancestral land among the 9 ancestral lands have also attracted the attention of all the great ancestral lands. Because there are rumors that Zhang Chen is a creature from the 5th ancestral land, and the 5th ancestral land intends to welcome Zhang Chen back and become a descendant of the ancestral land. The demon sect of Taishu and the ancient heavenly court have already made Zhang Chen's background so that no one dares to touch it. If there is another descendant of the 5th ancestral land, the power behind Zhang Chen will be too terrifying. Fairyland. Immortal family of immortality. Tisk. In the void, a bright fairy light flashed up, and an ancient door of fairy light condensed out. The fairy door opened, and a figure with tattered clothes and a rather embarrassed look came out. Son of God. The Son of God is back. But the moment that person walked out, all the creatures of the immortal family were alarmed. This person is the divine son of the immortal family who has been practicing for several months in the ruins of the ancient immortal court. Xian Wuidao. Oh. Ignore it. Those boiling immortal creatures, Xian Wuidao took a step across the sky and disappeared. Not long after, the neatly dressed Xian Wuidao came to a majestic and boundless fairy palace. The fairy palace opened, revealing a vast and immortal fairyland. In that fairyland, there are fairy mountains suspended in the sky, countless temples arranged, immortal elixirs for channeling spirits, and ancient sacred treasures transformed. At a glance, it is like an endless treasure. After Xian Wuidao tidied up his clothes, he walked step by step stepping into that glorious fairyland. The moment he crossed the fairy gate, Xian Wuidao came to a glorious fairy palace. In the center of the fairy palace, a figure in fairy robes sat quietly on the altar. Can see thousands of innate black and yellow energy surround his body, making his appearance unclear and mysterious. Wuidao, pay homage to the ancient ancestor. After Xian Wuidao arrived, he immediately saluted respectfully. This figure in the immortal robe surrounded by black and yellow aura is clearly the supreme ancestor of the immortal family of immortality who is still alive in the world. Fantasy, Invincible from the Holy Son of the Demon Section author, 10 miles. Chapter 92. How about going to the secret realm of ancient immortal court this time? The ancient ancestor of the immortal family opened his eyes. Those deep and vast eyes were like an endless star field, with billions of immortal laws intertwining and evolving. Just one look at it would make people feel proud, and the soul would be swallowed up and crushed. The terrifying feeling. The supreme ancestor. This is the most pinnacle existence in the universe. Since the ancient immortal era, these supreme existences have either disappeared or remain hidden. To this day, there are less than one number of Taoist traditions that clearly have the supreme ancient ancestor alive. The immortal realm is the immortal family of immortality. The Tianyu is the ancient heavenly court. This is one of the few Tianyas that has been able to catch up with the immortal realm for a long time. The confidence lies in. I got some residual skills from the ancient immortal court, but not much. Xian Wuodao shook his head directly. In front of the ancient ancestor of the Xian family, he did not hide anything. You should have heard the news about Gu Yuan Wonderland. The ancient ancestor of the Xian family said again. Already know that. When Xian Wuodao heard this, his expression seemed to be normal, but there was a chill in his eyes. What Xiao said was naturally referring to Zhang Chen becoming heir of the ancient immortal court in the Seven Immortals ancient temple. At the beginning, his immortal family forcibly opened the ancient Yuan fairyland just to let him find the inheritance of the Seven Immortals ancient temple. But he wandered around inside for more than half a year and found nothing. On the other hand, Zhang Chen found the Seven Stars ancient temple without much effort after entering the ancient Yuan fairyland, and directly became one of the descendants of the ancient fairy court. Such a huge sense of disparity is a bit difficult to calm down even if one has an immortal mind. Because in the eyes of the world, he has been completely overshadowed by Zhang Chen in terms of qualifications. More importantly, the opening of Gu Yuan fairyland this time was the result of their joint efforts. This is equivalent to their immortal realm personally delivering this amazing opportunity to Zhang Chen. In this matter, their immortal family has put in a lot of effort. Ever since the news about Zhang Chen becoming the heir of the ancient immortal court spread, their immortal family has become a complete laughingstock. This level of influence is not comparable to what Xian Wuxian lost to Zhang Chen in the ancient city. Although the kid from Tianyu is taking advantage of you right now, you don't have to worry too much. The ancient ancestor of the Xian family could see Xian Wuodao's complicated mood at a glance and said. After hearing this, Xian Wuodao suddenly raised his head and looked at the ancient ancestor of the Xian family. What this meant was that he was the successor of the ancient fairy court, and hope. To be honest, although Xian Wuodao attaches great importance to the position of the successor of the ancient immortal court, he does not insist on it. What really makes him unbearable is that Zhang Chen, who has stepped on the reputation of his immortal family several times, actually became descendants of ancient immortal court. There are a total of 5 descendants of the ancient immortal court, each of whom is in charge of a heritage token, but only in charge. Those 5 tokens have no contractual relationship with the 5 of them and can be taken from each other. In other words, the reason why the ancient immortal court divided the inheritance token into 5 is to select the strongest among the 5. The other 4 descendants of immortal court all have ancient beings from immortal court behind them, and they belong to the orthodoxy of ancient immortal court. Therefore, the only one who can legitimately compete for the immortal court token is the kid from Tianyu. The ancient ancestor of the immortal family opened his mouth and told Xian Wuodao in detail about the pros and cons. The inheritance of the 7 immortals ancient temple belongs to the immortal domain Taoism. But I don't know what method Tianyu used to cut it off. Fortunately, it doesn't matter if you are one step behind. You just need to catch up. So, as long as I defeat Taisha Demon, I can become one of the descendants of the ancient immortal court. The light in Xian Wudeo's eyes was even brighter. Jiang Chen would never let go of the Xian family's face being so damaged. It just so happened that the old and new grudges were settled together. After the attack on Gu Yuan Fairyland, Tianyu should protect that junior and not let him show up again easily. However, the fortunes of the heavens have returned to chaos, and the battle of fortunes is coming. As soon as these words came out, a smile appeared on Xian Wudeo's face. When the battle for destiny came, Tianyu couldn't do it even if he wanted to hide Jiang Chen in the snow. Unless Tianyu was willing to give up the battle for destiny. But that is impossible. Even among the 10,000 realms, the most powerful realm will not let go of the battle of fate. Time flies, and several months pass. The realm of the heavens, which was originally becoming more and more peaceful, became boiling again because of the appearance of a vision. A piece of supreme chaos appears in the sky above all the heavens and realms. It can be clearly sensed that in all the heavens and realms, there are indescribable fortunes of heaven and earth, all of which are gathered in the chaos. All the fortunes of the weather will return to chaos. This also means that the battle for destiny in this life is finally coming. In this regard, it is not surprising that the powerful orthodoxy of all heavens and realms has already been divined and sensed. However, just because you're not surprised doesn't mean you're not nervous. In this life, although there are many geniuses and geniuses, in fact, the level of geniuses varies greatly. The top ones are naturally the Qin family of the Tianyu family, the Xian Wudeo of the immortal family, and those heirs of the ancient Taoism who have never come out of the world. If other Taoist heirs encounter these monsters, there is no possibility of fighting over them. It can even be said that if you encounter it, you will die. Fortunately, the battle of fate does not only appear in one place, nor only once. It's just that the location and luck are different every time. Therefore, there will always be opportunities for other geniuses to get a share of the pie. Heavenly Domain. Taisha Demon Sect. Jiang Chen, who was sitting cross-legged on the altar, was surrounded by strands of dark energy. The evil immortal law that lingered on his broken arm had been integrated into the dark energy. But Jiang Chen's broken arm still didn't appear. Because Jiang Chen's entire mind was still immersed in the deduction and understanding of the ancient evil immortal stone. Vaguely, a strange and evil dark world was forming above Jiang Chen's head. In the ancestral demon palace, the 9-demon old man, the Lord of Heaven and others all looked at him with solemn expressions. Senior brother, do you want to stop him? Looking at the increasingly complete dark world, the lazy young man couldn't help but beat wildly in the corners of his eyes. Jiang Chen's current aura was really weird. It felt like he was in that ancient bronze coffin. It was normal in front of him. But what really frightened the lazy young man was the dark world above Jiang Chen. It could be seen at a glance that the dark world was just a vision derived from the dark energy. But even so, the lazy young man, but there is still a feeling of fear. It seems that in that dark world, some terrifying creatures may rush out at any time. Since the turmoil in Immortal Ancient, this is the first time that the lazy young man has such a fear. Sense of surprise. Jiang Chen is deducing the law of evil cultivation. If he interrupts now, big trouble may happen. The Lord of Heaven's eyes also showed an unconcealable solemnity and vigilance. To be honest, he really didn't expect that Jiang Chen could directly deduce such a situation with the help of those remaining evil immortal laws. The 9 demons, when the old man told him the news, he doubted whether he heard it wrong. They had studied the dark energy on the ancient bronze coffin in his ancient heaven. But after so many years, there was nothing discovered. Now, Jiang Chen actually comprehended the aura of darkness just by relying on the contaminated evil immortal law. This kind of understanding can be said to be unprecedented and unprecedented. If those evil cultivators knew about it, they would probably be rewarded and punished. Let's move the ancestors back and make sacrifices for them. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, Invincible from the Holy Son of the Demon Section author, 10 miles. Chapter 93. This is too dangerous. The eyes of the nine-demon old man were condensed and serious. It was precisely because he discovered that the dark energy appeared on Zhang Chen's body that the nine-demon old man who originally went to explore the source of the strangeness and the evil clan outside the world quickly returned. From the information he gathered, it seems that the energy of darkness is exclusive to strange sources and evil tribes outside the world. This is like the way of the Emperor of Heaven. Although it also belongs to the system of cultivating immortals, it can be easily perceived and distinguished by others. Zhang Chen, who is surrounded by darkness, is now it's like being in a destructive storm. It seems safe and sound, but if you take even half a step wrong, you will be swallowed up by the dark energy. Even with their guardians, I'm afraid it will be too late to save you. Make him stop. The Lord of Heaven and the lazy young man all looked at the nine demons old man. Zhang Chen is the disciple of the nine demons old man. In this matter, the nine demons old man is naturally qualified to make a decision. I will set up the formation first, and you should also be prepared. When I give the order, Zhang Chen will be awakened immediately. The old man of the nine demons pondered for a long time, and finally made a decision. He did not deny that Zhang Chen was a monster, but Zhang Chen's cultivation level was too weak. In their eyes, the Suanzun realm was no different from an ant. If you are swept away by that kind of dark energy, you will probably die immediately. And that kind of dark energy is stronger than them, and they don't dare to be contaminated. Good. Hearing the words of the nine-demon old man, both the lords of heaven were swept by Taoism and their immortal power was mighty. Boom. At this moment, the dark world above Zhang Chen's head suddenly trembled. Then, a pair of eyes were like an endless black hole. His dark pupils suddenly opened in that dark world. Both of them were obviously pitch black, but the dark pupils were clearly visible. At this moment, the nine-demon old man, the ancient heavenly court, and the lazy young man, they were all creepy. In fact, cold sweat broke out on their faces unconsciously. Fortunately, those dark eyes only appeared for a moment and then disappeared. That strange and evil dark world, it also faded away. The dark energy on Zhang Chen's body was gradually swallowed up and disappeared by the chaotic energy. Vast energy and blood surged. Zhang Chen's broken arm grew in an instant. After that, Zhang Chen's momentum was like a volcano erupting. And it seems to be promoted and released, and it is rising like crazy. This is Zhang Chen's cultivation, as if he has obtained some peerless tonic, and he is rushing all the way. The fifth level of the Suanzun realm, the sixth level of the Suanzun realm, the seventh level of the Suanzun realm. Eighth level of Suanzun realm. Those eyes just now. A dark ancient ancestor. As for Zhang Chen's soaring cultivation, the nine demons and the old man didn't care at all. With cold sweat streaming down their faces, those dark eyes still clearly appeared in their minds. Those feelings seemed to be imprinted on them. It lingers in their minds and cannot be forgotten. There is no doubt that the owner of the dark eyes just now is definitely a creature at the level of the ancient ancestor. It is even possible to surpass the supreme ancient ancestor. For the ancient ancestor, no matter, they are no strangers to the nine demons old man or the Lord of Heaven. Although now, the supreme ancient ancestor has become a legendary existence and will never be born. But with the status of the nine demons old man and the Lord of Heaven, he can contact to the existence of those levels. By comparing the two, they can naturally judge roughly the cultivation level of the creature with those dark eyes. The only one who is stronger than the ancient ancestor is the legendary saint ancestor realm. Oh. So, there may be legends about the realm of the holy ancestors among the strange sources and evil tribes outside the world. So, will the age of myth be completely overturned and disappear in the long river of history? This matter must be reported to the ancient ancestor. After a while, the Lord of Heaven came back to his senses and disappeared immediately. Naturally, the lazy young man did not stop and followed him away. After the two Lords of Heaven left, the nine-demon old man raised his eyebrows slightly. Lost in thought, he was considering whether to burn incense and pass this matter to the ancestor. Although the ancestor of the demon sect has disappeared for countless years, the nine demons old man has always believed that the ancestor of the demon sect is still alive. Not to mention the other things. He said that without the prophecy of the ancestor, he would not have gone to the fifth ancestor's land. Naturally, he would not be able to wait for Jiang Chen. Since the ancestor could foresee this life, he would naturally not die in this life. At the very least, not will fall now. But the problem is that the ancestor made an explanation before leaving. Unless there is a crisis that the demon sect is destroyed, he cannot be disturbed. So, is Jiang Chen's incident considered a big crisis? In terms of crisis, his Taisha demon sect is still well and still standing at the top of the heaven realm. If not, if the strange source and the evil tribe from outside the world come, the entire 10,000 realms will be robbed. Boom. When the nine-demon old man is entangled, a violent force, the astonishing supreme pressure, suddenly swept over. The old man of the nine demons came back to his senses and looked at Jiang Chen, slightly surprised. While he was thinking, Jiang Chen's cultivation level had made breakthroughs one after another. Now, he had even crossed the level of Tianzun, reaching the level of the Supreme Being. Of course, in front of existences like the nine-demon old man, whether it is the Suanzun realm or the Supreme One, there is no difference. But what makes the nine-demon old man unable to figure out is why Jiang Chen is here suddenly. There was such a sudden increase in cultivation. From the time Jiang Chen entered the ancestral demon palace for seclusion until now, he has not swallowed any magical elixirs, nor refined any inherited Taoist methods. Could it be that from those evil cultivation laws, what inheritance did you get? Master. Jiang Chen, who had reached the supreme level in cultivation, stood up and moved his reborn arms. Although this retreat consumed a lot of the origin and luck he gained in the ancient Yuan fairyland, the harvest he gained was also extremely huge. It is a trivial matter to reach the supreme level with cultivation. What really excites Jiang Chen is that he has almost mastered the cultivation method of the evil immortal system. More importantly, Jiang Chen will also bring those evil immortals Tao has been integrated into the chaotic world. This will undoubtedly make the power of the chaotic world transform again. Just like the changes that occurred in the chaotic world when the origin of the immortal Tao was obtained in the ancient city. Regarding the evil immortal system, Jiang Chen didn't have a thorough understanding. But there was one thing that Jiang Chen could sense. That was the evil immortal system, and there seemed to be no difference at the root from the immortal Dao system. In other words, when the evil immortal system came to an end, it can also be the same as the immortal Dao system, which can prove the supreme Dao. The only difference is that absorbing the energy of darkness to practice the evil immortal Dao seems to be able to achieve twice the result with half the effort, and may even reach several times. This also made Jiang Chen's heart rise. A thought. Could it be that the evil immortal system was originally just a branch of the immortal cultivation system, but later it was contaminated with the energy of darkness, and the evil cultivation was born? Did anything strange happen when you deduced the evil immortal law just now? Seeing Jiang Chen wake up from practice, the nine-demon old man couldn't help but ask. When he spoke, the dark eyes in the dark world appeared in his mind. Weird thing. When I was deducing the law of evil immortals, I did see a lot of strange phenomena. When Jiang Chen heard about it, he told him in detail how he had deduced and understood the evil cultivation system. Jiang Chen originally wanted to impart his understanding of the evil cultivation system to his master and others. After all, if the strange source and the evil tribe from outside the world were to come now, he would have to rely on his master and others to deal with them. Of course, Zhang Chen didn't say anything about the ancient evil immortal stone. Because this thing came from the system, it's impossible to tell where it came from. Other immortal killing swords and chaos bells can also be passed down to the inheritance left by the ancestors. This is one of the origins of the evil immortal system, and the founder cannot be blamed for it. Fantasy, Invincible from the Holy Son of the Demon Section author, 10 miles. Chapter 94. Evil Cultivating System. When the nine-demon old man heard this, he immediately concentrated and carefully wrote down what Zhang Chen said. As Zhang Chen thought, the evil immortal system he deduced and understood would be of great help to the nine-demon old man. This is different from the way of the Emperor of Heaven. Although the way of the Emperor of Heaven is an invincible method, the nine-demon old man has already condensed his own way. Even if you get the way of the Emperor of Heaven, you can't just practice it again, you can only make some reference. But the evil immortal system is fundamentally similar to the immortal system. With the attainments of the nine-demon old man, he can naturally master it very quickly. Moreover, it can also be used to find the weak points of the evil immortal system. Wrong. What is really scary about evil cultivators is not the evil immortal laws, but the dark energy. After a while, the old man nine demon slowly spoke and revealed the essence in one sentence. Zhang Chen couldn't help but admire him. He is indeed an old monster who has lived for countless years. Even if he has never seen the origin of the evil cultivator, he can instantly discover it. The most critical issue. The energy of darkness. The real source of the strangeness and the evil clan outside the world is the energy of darkness. When you were deducing the laws of evil cultivation, you had visions of the dark world. In that dark world, a pair of very scary dark eyes appeared. You have no impression. The old man Mo hesitated for a while and then asked about this matter. No. Zhang Chen thought for a long time and slowly shook his head. He really didn't find out about the dark world and dark eyes. Of course, even if it appeared, Zhang Chen would not be able to detect it. The feeling of deducing insights is like an epiphany. There was no time to be distracted. The moment he regained consciousness, he came back from his sudden enlightenment. After hearing this, the nine-demon old man didn't ask any more questions. Then, he pointed at Zhang Chen, the Supreme Realm and the Imperial Realm. The difference in cultivation. With Zhang Chen's cultivation talent, it won't take long for him to step from the Supreme Realm into the realm of the Emperor. It is even very possible for Zhang Chen to truly step into the realm of the Emperor before he is 20 years old. One statue, too, the thought of being a 10-year-old emperor is shocking. At the very least, in the history of Tianyu, no one has ever become an emperor before the age of 20. Nowadays, the fate of all the gods has been reduced to chaos. The battle of fate is coming, so be prepared. After the explanation, the old man nine demons talked about the battle of luck. Judging from the past situation, after the luck of the heavens returns to chaos, there will soon be a battle of luck. Good. Zhang Chen nodded, quite interested in the upcoming fate battle. Judging from the previous exchange for ancient evil immortal stones, the exchange for the fate system must be diversified. Even if there is a chance of failure, it can indeed be done, in exchange for the designated opportunity. And what Zhang Chen is thinking about is naturally those ancient treasures. Such as the four swords of Zuxian, Chaos Bell, Tai Chi Diagram, Pangu Flag, etc. When Zhang Chen sets foot in the Imperial Realm, he should be able to use it reluctantly. Waiting for the prehistoric treasures. If he exchanges all the prehistoric treasures for them, then even if the strange source and the evil tribe from outside the world come, Zhang Chen will have nothing to worry about. Of course, if he wants to exchange for those prehistoric treasures, he needs the origin, and luck will be extremely astonishing. Take the ancient evil immortal stone that was exchanged for it before, it has consumed all the origin and luck plundered in the ancient Yuan fairyland. You must know that Zhang Chen, in addition to plundering Xian Wuxian, Gu Luoshu, and other young geniuses, and also suppressed the evil cultivators in the Master's true immortal realm. The origin of living beings at that level is naturally far beyond the ability of young geniuses. Therefore, compared to plundering young geniuses piecemeal, Zhang Chen is more. I feel that it is much more convenient to directly plunder the destiny of all realms. When he becomes strong enough in the future, he will directly hunt the imperial realm and even the immortal realm. Son of God. Little Lord. After learning that Zhang Chen was released from seclusion, a group of followers gathered together. They felt relieved after seeing that Zhang Chen had reborn from a broken arm and was safe and sound. You should all know about the fate battle, right? Zhang Chen looked at the group of followers. The top 10 geniuses in heaven have already reached the half-step Tianzun realm. Bailey Fixian and Zhan Wudi have broken through the bottleneck and truly stepped into the Tianzun level. Obviously, after getting after Zhang Chen's good fortune and the refining of the origin of the immortal path from the seven immortals' ancient temple, they all underwent a complete transformation. Yan'er, Yuan Tian, and Zhou Wuxiang, after receiving the origin of the immortal path brought back by Zhang Chen, the cultivation level has also skyrocketed. However, compared to Bailey Fixian and others, it is far behind. Now, they are still at the supreme realm, and have not even broken through the Suanzun realm. This is normal. The three of them compared with Bailey Fixian and others, their cultivation level is fundamentally different. In addition, the qualifications and opportunities of Bailey Fixian and others are not weaker than those of Zhou Wuxiang and the others. Naturally, they will behind Bailey Fixian and others. I heard that innate luck will appear in the immortal realm. In addition, luck will also come in Dao realm, divine realm, ancient realm, and other major realms. Zhan Wudi nodded and said, all kinds of celestial fortunes will appear in many places at the same time. The karmic fortunes that come are also strong and weak. The strongest one is undoubtedly the innate karma. There are only 9 paths in the entire heaven. It implies the ultimate in numbers. The main thing that the 10 directions are competing for is the 9 innate air fortunes. As long as the innate air luck is 1, from then on, the air luck of the entire great region can be guaranteed. Of course, the influence of air luck naturally, the more things that last for eternity, the better. Therefore, every time luck comes, the geniuses from the 10 directions will rush out like locusts. Not only the innate luck must be fought for, but other powers of luck also do not want to be let go. Pass. I will take back the innate luck. Your task is to snatch other luck. I don't care what you do. In one sentence, I want you to each bring back a piece of luck. Zhang Chen looked at Zhan Wudi and others, and there was no doubt in his calm words. As his followers, you can naturally enjoy other benefits. Such as luck, such as the origin of immortality and other amazing opportunities. However, there are what you earn must be paid for. Now, it's time for Zhan Wudi and others to contribute. This is both a test and an opportunity. Yes. After hearing Zhang Chen's order, Zhan Wudi, Bailey Fixian, and the 10 heavenly families all responded in unison. Judging from their expressions, it was obvious that they were quite interested in the battle of destiny. Even Yan, who had the weakest cultivation level, the three of them are all a bit ready to make a move. As long as they avoid the top geniuses of Zhang Chen's level, it will not be difficult to face the geniuses of other major regions. But not all the young geniuses of the major regions are like Zhang Chen. Xian Wuodao is as evil as Xian Wuodao. After giving the order, Zhang Chen began to spar with Zhan Wudi and others. It was said to be a spar, but in reality it was more like giving advice. In the past, when his cultivation was not as good as theirs, he could easily suppress it. Now, Zhang Chen has reached the supreme realm, which is naturally far beyond their reach. When the top Taoist traditions in each domain are getting ready, the battle for the destiny of the heavens has officially come. The first innate destiny is indeed appeared in the secret realm of the immortal realm. That secret realm was the location of the top Taoist orthodoxy that had been destroyed in the ancient years, and the celestial immortal Taoist palace. When the news came out, all the top Taoist traditions in the 10 directions moved to the celestial immortal Taoist palace. All of a sudden, the winds and clouds are surging in all the heavens and regions. Fantasy, Invincible from the Holy Son of the Demon Section author, 10 miles. Chapter 95. Fairyland. One of the 9 days, one day of Tao. An immortal fairy palace billions of feet tall rises from the end of the earth and reaches into the sky. The vast ancient immortal power spread out from the immortal palace of immortality, suppressing the 9 heavens and 10 earths. That immortal palace is exactly the heavenly immortal palace where the innate luck comes. Outside the Tianxian Dao palace, there are already hundreds of millions of Taoist forces gathered together. With the dissipation of the barrier of 10,000 domains, almost all the top Taoist successors with names in the 10 great domains have arrived. Although in this life, unparalleled monsters were born in both the immortal realm and the heavenly realm. But when it comes to competing for luck, sometimes it doesn't necessarily mean you are strong enough to get it. Because, in the competition for innate luck, either you grab it or it is yours. Only by bringing it out can the robbery be considered successful. In other words, before leaving the secret realm, luck may change hands at any time. In the past fate battles, there were many cases where those with strong cultivation were besieged. If the fighting power is not enough to defeat the heroes, then the best way is to gather all the strength to fight. You tell me, in this battle over innate destiny, do the Taisha demon sons from the heaven realm dare to come? Nonsense. If the demon son of Taisha doesn't come, who else in the heaven realm can suppress the son of God of the immortal family? Whether it was the ancient city or the ancient UN fairyland, Taisha demon Zi slapped the face of the immortal realm hard. Isn't he afraid of being destroyed by the giants of the immortal realm? What do you know? The supreme existence of the 10 directions has long reached a consensus that no orthodoxy is allowed to interfere in the fate dispute. Anyone who violates this rule will be killed. I'm really curious about how far the immortal son of the immortal family has reached in his cultivation now. Indeed, since the beginning of the reign of the immortal queen, the son of God of the immortal family has never appeared again. Now that several years have passed, his cultivation must have changed dramatically. The descendant of the sea of reincarnation, his cultivation is at the peak of the heavenly Lord, but he still dare not challenge the divine son of the Xian family. In my opinion, the divine son of the Xian family is at least the supreme being. Those countless Taoists who gathered here were all talking to each other. The focus of the conversation was naturally on Zhang Chen and Xian Wuodao. Zhang Chen's combat prowess had already been made clear to the world when he was in the ancient UN fairyland a few months ago. I can see it. Although his cultivation is only at the Suanzun level, his combat power is not weaker than that of the Supreme Being. If he uses his trump card, he can even kill the elders at the Great Emperor level. However, the secret realm of the Battle of Fate has God. For suppression, one cannot use trump cards. Therefore, Zhang Chen's combat power should only be at the supreme realm. As for Xian Wuodao, it's hard to say. A few years ago, Xian Wuodao's combat power could sweep through infinite heaven. It has been several years now, and Xian Wuodao definitely has not slept while lying down. No one knows how far Xian Wuodao has reached in his cultivation with his qualifications. Boom! When all the Taoist orthodoxy shouted in surprise, the void suddenly trembled. After that, an ancient lake filled with fairy sounds burst out of the sky. Above the lake, divine patterns flashed, fairy energy filled the air, and it was mysterious and extraordinary. Lake of the Dead. Seeing the ancient lake coming out of the sky, a burst of exclamations resounded. Lake of the Dead, one of the top 10 immortal lands, the life-forbidden zone of Qinglong Immortal Land. Regardless of strength or foundation, it is not weaker than the top of the immortal realm. Taoism. In the ancient years, there were three major immortal families who coveted the immortal treasures of the Lake of the Dead and joined forces to persecute them. As a result, the three major immortal families disappeared silently after entering the realm of the Lake of the Dead. When they reappeared, there were only countless skeletons hanging upside down outside the Lake of the Dead. Since then, the three immortal families have become history, and the Lake of the Dead has become famous in one battle. Even vaguely, the reputation of the Lake of the Dead can be compared with that of the Sea of Reincarnation. Luoyuming. Looking at the sullen young man in the ancient lake, many geniuses in the immortal realm were palpitating. Luoyuming is the descendant of the Dead Lake generation, and it is rumored that he possesses the netherworld immortal body. You know, the netherworld immortal body, that is one of the top 10 immortal physiques that has been passed down in the immortal realm since ancient times. In the ancient immortal era, there were people with the netherworld immortal physique who cultivated to the pinnacle and dominated the world. If not for the strange and unknown encounter, there would have been one more in the immortal realm. The Supreme Being has arrived. Wow! After arriving at the Lake of the Dead, a bright fairy light swept over like a torrent. On that bright glow, a dazzling fairy pavilion followed the trend. Above the fairy pavilion, a mighty fairy, the ancient characters shocked the world. Immortal. Looking at the entire immortal realm, the only one who dares to directly take the name of immortal is the Changsheng immortal family. Since the birth of the immortal realm, the Changsheng immortal family has always been the strongest family, no one. To this day, the immortal family's position in the immortal realm is still the strongest overlord. There are only a handful of Taoist traditions that can compete with the immortal realm, and almost all of them are hidden from the world. In front of the immortal family, even the reincarnation sea and ancient forbidden places such as the Lake of the Dead must also temporarily avoid the sharp edge. The Son of God of the immortal family, is he here? Countless Taoists are all staring at it. In this battle for destiny in the celestial immortal Dao Palace, Xian Wuodao is one of the two most notable geniuses. If Xian Wuodao doesn't come, then I'm afraid the entire immortal realm will be in ruins. People can stop Zhang Chen. Even Luoyuming from the Lake of the Dead is afraid that he will not be able to fight against Zhang Chen. As the fairy light flashed, a figure with a tall body and surrounded by fairy light walked out. A vast coercion, unscrupulous sweeping in, hundreds of millions of geniuses changed their colors. The Supreme Seventh Heaven. This kind of talent is too scary, right? Indeed, if you continue to practice at this speed, I am afraid that in a few years, you will be able to set foot in the great Emperor realm. He is indeed a monster who can single-handedly unify the infinite heaven. Perceiving Xian Wuodao's unabashedly terrifying cultivation, countless creatures were shocked. At such a young age, he has reached the 7th level of the Supreme Realm. There is no doubt that Xian Wuodao broke into the realm of the Emperor and set foot in the realm of immortality. It's just a matter of time. Even with the qualifications of Xian Wuodao, maybe in the future, I will be able to set foot in the Supreme Ancient Ancestor realm. Boom! When countless Dao lineages shocked Xian Wuodao's cultivation, the sky above the sky was shattered by wind and clouds. Immediately afterwards, a corner of the vast and ancient heaven appeared, with an avenue of colorful fairy lights hanging down. Heavenly domain, ancient heavenly court. Taishu demon son really appeared. The battle between the divine son of the Xian family and the demon son of Taishu is truly exciting. The dragon and the tiger are fighting. I don't know who will win in the end. The moment they recognized the ancient heavenly court, the countless Taoists who gathered there became excited. The only one who could make the ancient heavenly court come with such a large formation was Zhang Chen, the demon son of Taishu. The grudges between the Changsheng immortal family and Zhang Chen has been forged since the ancient city of Immortal. After the incident in the ancient Yuan immortal realm, the grievances between the two parties have reached a peak. Now that the battle of fate is happening, the battle between Xian Wuodao and Zhang Chen is impossible averted. This battle will also determine who is the number one of the younger generation in all the worlds. Under the gaze of countless eyes, a figure in white clothes like snow stepped down on the colorful fairy light. On that man's shoulder, there is a black eyeless raven, exuding boundless pressure. It is none other than Taisha Demon's son, the descendant of the ancient heaven, Zhang Chen. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, Invincible from the Holy Son of the Demon Section author, 10 miles. Chapter 96. This breath. The Supreme Realm. The moment they saw Zhang Chen, the numerous Taoists who gathered there were all shocked. Because Zhang Chen's cultivation had actually reached the supreme level. You know, during the battle in the ancient Yuan fairyland, Zhang Chen's cultivation level is only at the 4th level of the Suanzun realm. In just a few months, Zhang Chen has straddled the two realms of Suanzun and Tianzun, and entered the supreme realm. This level of talent is too terrifying, isn't it? Is he still a human? Is he the reincarnation of a monster? I thought that the qualifications of the immortal Son of God were amazing enough, but I didn't expect. Those countless Taoists who had previously shocked Xian Wudeo's cultivation slowly came back to their senses after a while and murmured to themselves. Although he had known for a long time that Zhang Chen's cultivation speed was incomparable to that of a monster. But no one could have imagined that Zhang Chen could reach the supreme realm in just a few months. When did cultivation in the supreme realm become so easy? In comparison, Xian Wudeo, who had previously had the most powerful talent in the world, was somewhat eclipsed. Not to mention, the age difference between the two is several years. It only takes a few years to reach the Supreme Being, and it takes only a few months to step into it. No matter what method he used, it was clear that Zhang Chen's qualifications far exceeded Xian Wudeo. If Taisha Demon's son grows up, he may have a chance to glimpse the legendary Saint Ancestor realm. In the divine domain, the ancient giants of one of the top orthodox traditions couldn't help but marvel. Many of the ancestor-level monsters around them also sighed with emotion. They have lived for a long time and have seen countless geniuses and geniuses. But like Zhang Chen. It's so weird, it's really the first time I've seen it. No wonder it can be inherited from the Seven Immortals' ancient temple. In the Lake of the Dead, Luo Yuming, who had a nether immortal body, had solemnity in his eyes. When he learned that Gu Luoshu almost died at the hands of Zhang Chen, Luo Yuming had a premonition that Zhang Chen was not immortal. Now that he actually saw Zhang Chen, the premonition in his heart became even stronger. Zhang Chen is probably much stronger than Xian Wudeo. Supreme. Xian Wudeo from the Xian family also looked over, his eyes slightly narrowed with strange colors flickering in his eyes. To be honest, even he was a little surprised at this time. He can break through two major realms in cultivation within a few months. He can also do this kind of thing. However, it is difficult to think that there will be no sequelae at all and the foundation will not be shaken at all. This Taisha devil is indeed a bit of a master. However, this alone is not enough to make him afraid. When the Tianxian Dao Palace opens, he will let the world know who is the number one among the younger generation. At this time, the fairy land is at the end of a certain no man's land. On the willow branches, spots of fairy light flickered, forming a fairy mirror. Above the immortal mirror, the situation outside the heavenly immortal Dao Palace is clearly displayed. This boy is not simple. The young man lying lazily on the willow tree with a cynical expression had curiosity and surprise in his eyes. Obviously, even he had not expected Zhang Chen's cultivation speed. He now finally understood why the old willow tree asked him not to, it's too careless. With Zhang Chen's growth rate, it is estimated that after the fate battle is over, he will be able to set foot in the realm of the Emperor. By then, it will be enough to catch up with him and attack the realm of immortality. Naturally, it is impossible for an ordinary person to make the Seven Immortals' ancient temple give him the Emperor's seal as an exception. On the willow tree, an old face appeared and said, "Can you see his future?" The young man asked. "This child is shrouded in mysterious magic. Even if he breaks it open forcibly, he can only see chaos and cannot see the past or future." The willow tree said. When the young man heard this, his eyes flickered, and he had the will to fight. "What, you want to get out of seclusion and go meet him for a while?" The willow tree opened its mouth and saw the young man's thoughts. "My hands are really itchy, but unfortunately, my ancestor has ordered me not to go out now." The young man sighed and shook his head slowly. "Since the ancient immortal court was destroyed, those evil cultivators have been looking for the successors of the immortal court. Your ancestor is worried that your identity will be exposed and you will be targeted by those evil cultivators, which will be troublesome," said the willow tree. "I think the ancestor was too careful. The Taisha demon son was also a descendant of the emperor's seal, so he was running around all over the world." The young man said. "What happened last time was that boy was very lucky. Don't underestimate the power of those evil cultivators," the willow tree warned with a solemn voice. "If those evil cultivators were not strong, how could they subvert the ancient immortal court? If we wait like this, when will it be? If the Taisha demon son was kidnapped by evil cultivators and lost his imperial seal, how could he be inherited by the ancient immortal court? You can't, just like in the past, continue to seal it and wait until the next life to be born again, right?" The young man opened his mouth and said something quite shocking. He was an ancient genius whose seal was only released in this life. "Everything will take its own course, don't be too anxious." That willow tree seemed to have seen something before, and it spoke slowly. "There is no need to rush. If this continues, I will be unable to suppress it and break through to the immortal realm." The young man moved his fingers, and there was a vague aura of immortality emanating from the Taoism at his fingertips. This was a sign that Taoism was about to transform into immortality. If it weren't for the opportunity of the ancient immortal court, he would not have been able to pass on the immortality realm. He had already been in the 100 years ago, 10,000 years ago, he broke through the realm of immortality. If that's the case, it's destiny. The old Liasha naturally knew about the young man's level of cultivation, but he had no choice. The matter of the ancient immortal courtyard was already determined by the former emperor of the immortal courtyard. Not to mention them, it was the ancestors and giants. Can't intervene to change it? If you really missed it, it can only be said that you have missed the inheritance of the ancient fairy court. Fairyland. One day. In front of Tianxiandao Palace. Immortal family, immortals have no way. Lake of the Dead, Luo Yiming. Zhang Chen, who was flying down through the air, swept his eyes across the hundreds of millions of living beings gathered, and then landed on two people. One is Xian Wuodao, who has the cultivation level of the supreme seventh heaven, and his combat power is definitely not weaker than that of the quasi-emperor. One is Luo Yiming. Although his cultivation is only half-step to supreme, he has cultivated the Yiming immortal body to an extremely advanced level. Among the top geniuses currently gathered, only the two of them could catch Zhang Chen's eyes. As for the prodigy successors of other great regions, to put it bluntly, Zhang Chen couldn't arouse the slightest interest in them. This also made Zhang Chen slightly disappointed. The people he really wants to fight are the other four successors who have obtained the immortal emperor's seal. Even this kind of innate destiny battle didn't show up, so what are the origins of those four people? Boom! When Zhang Chen's thoughts were running wild, a deafening roar could be heard from the avenue. In the towering immortal palace, there is an immortal power like a mountain torrent and a tsunami. After that, in the immortal palace, the ancient gate of immortal light opened, and an ancient secret realm appeared. An indescribable fluctuation of luck emanated from the ancient secret realm. The Tianxiandao Palace has been opened, go in quickly. When those elder giants saw this, they immediately gave orders. Whoosh whoosh. At this moment, countless young geniuses swarmed into the Tianxian Dao Palace. Although for other young geniuses, it is impossible to win the innate luck. The nature is not great. But, everything is possible. In the history of the universe, it is not that there have been lucky people who were lucky enough to receive innate luck. Because in that kind of melee, no one knows what will happen. Thing. Fantasy, Invincible from the Holy Son of the Demon Section author, 10 miles. Chapter 97. If we want to talk about the fastest people, they are naturally Xian Wuodao, Zhang Chen, and Luo Yuming. As soon as their figures flashed, Zhang Chen and the others had already crossed the void and entered the celestial immortal palace. Of course, the other young geniuses were not far behind and rushed into the Dao Palace. At the moment of entering, Zhang Chen, Xian Wuodao, and Luo Yuming immediately sensed it, carefully using secret techniques. Compared with personal grudges, finding the innate luck and catching it is the most important thing. Countless Taoist lineages from the outside world gathered together and immediately sacrificed ancient treasures to manifest the Taoist palace scene. Call out. But at this moment, a dazzling fairy light came without any warning and fell on Zhang Chen. That is, both the young prodigy who broke into the Taoist palace and the Taoists outside were stunned by such a change. Because the fairy light that fell from the sky and landed in Zhang Chen's arms turned out to be the innate luck. Innate luck, take the initiative to choose the master Teishimatsu. This. An ancestor of an immortal orthodoxy suspected that he had seen it wrong and rubbed his eyes vigorously. This is the first time in the history of all heavens and realms that such unbelievable things have happened. In the past battles over luck, which one is not to use means to get in and out, only then can you find your innate luck. Why did he choose the master directly when he arrived at Zhang Chen's place? Could this Zhang Chen be the chosen one? Seal the exit. A young genius reacted and immediately yelled. As soon as these words came out, thousands of young geniuses used secret techniques to block the Tao Palace. Luo Yuming and other top geniuses also used their own ancient treasures to strengthen the palace. The seal at the entrance of the Dao Palace. As long as the entrance is blocked and Zhang Chen is blocked in the secret realm of the Dao Palace, Zhang Chen will become a turtle in the urn. Perceive the origin of innate luck and absorb it? Zhang Chen ignored the young geniuses and immediately sealed the immortal light. When sealing, the system's clear and sweet sound sounded. Zhang Chen could clearly feel the majestic energy. The source of luck was absorbed and devoured by the system. The number of sources of luck was even more astonishing than the sources plundered in Gu Yuan Fairyland. Buzzing. At this moment, Zhang Chen's soul sees luck and fate were all there was. A slight tremor. There were wisps of crystal clear fairy light, shining in the destiny. It seemed that the destiny had taken a big step, making Zhang Chen's destiny even more amazing. Boom. After the entrance to the Dao Palace was completely blocked, a killing seal of destruction suddenly blasted towards Zhang Chen. The terrifying killing power even shattered the void, as if the ancient killing god came to the world. The person who took action was clearly right. He is the divine son of the immortal family, and the immortal has no way. Immortal killing seal. Countless prodigies around them changed their colors and recognized the unparalleled killing technique, and they all ducked away. The immortal killing seal, as the name suggests, is a killing seal specially designed to kill immortals, with endless killing power. Rumor has it that this terrifying killing technique, it was created by a generation of immortal emperors who once wiped out a star field. Even Luo Yuming in the Lake of the Dead had a slightly condensed expression and did not dare to get too close. Immortal killing seal is a destructive killing technique, but Xian Wuodao was easy to display directly. It can be seen that the strength of Xian Wuodao is much more terrifying than the rumors. Bang! In this regard, Zhang Chen simply pointed out with one finger. The Taoism of time and space surged. Before the terrifying killing mark could reach it, it was completely crushed with the distortion of the void. Time and space killing technique. Xian Wuodao was slightly moved. It seems that Zhang Chen's cultivation level has improved after all, and his combat power has also skyrocketed. 7 stars in the sky. Without any hesitation, Xian Wuodao's hands changed into seals, and there were 7 bright fairy lights flashing on his body. At a glance, it seemed that Xian Wuodao had 7 more dazzling stars on his body. This made Xian Wuodao's momentum go crazy. It rose dozens of times, and the whole world was shaken. Vaguely, above Xian Wuodao's head, there were 7 ancient stars appearing, and they were connected in a line. Isn't that the vision of the 7-star immortal king's body? The divine son of the immortal family actually possesses such an invincible immortal body. Seeing the strange phenomenon of 7 stars in the sky above Xian Wuodao's head, countless Taoists in the outside world were shocked. The 7-star immortal king's body is the immortal realm. The top 10 immortal kings' physiques are rumored to be invincible. Why is it called invincible? Because after the 7-star immortal king body grows up, it can step into the immortal king realm. In other words, as long as the 7-star immortal king body does not die, it will be the weakest and will reach the immortal king realm. It is this evil-like nature that allows obtaining the 7-star immortal king body is called invincible. Because throughout the history of history, there has never been any immortal body that can guarantee the cultivation to the immortal king realm. Even the top Taoists in the immortal realm have never thought that immortal Wu Tao actually has such an invincible immortal body. No wonder his qualifications are so terrifying and shocking. As soon as he was born, he overwhelmed his peers in the infinite sky. Now, there is something good to watch. Many giants of the older generation are very interested. One has a cultivation level of the Supreme realm, one has just entered the 7th level of the Supreme. Physique, an invincible chaos divine body, and the other has a 7-star immortal king body with the appearance of an immortal king. Zhang in the battle between Chen and Xian Wuodao, it's hard to say who is stronger and who is weaker. Of course, after seeing Xian Wuodao displaying the 7-star immortal king body, many ancient Taoist traditions became more optimistic about Xian Wuodao. This is because Xian Wuodao's immortal king body is not weaker than Zhang Chen's chaos divine body. Secondly, Xian Wuodao's cultivation is stronger than Zhang Chen's in several realms. In terms of inheriting secret techniques, the Changsheng immortal family is also not weaker than Zhang Chen's chaos divine body. The Taisha demon sect and the ancient heavenly court. Although Zhang Chen had a shocking trump card that could overwhelm the great emperor realm when he was in the ancient Yuan fairyland. But those trump cards cannot be used in the battle of luck. Because when luck comes, there will be mysterious laws that will come down. Those who compete for luck can only rely on their own strength and cannot use other trump cards. Even foreign objects such as immortal talismans and ancient weapons will be suppressed and banned once they reach a certain level. Wait there. No one can be exempted from God's law. Because it is God's law and will, which cannot be resisted by human beings. Immortal king body, battle, chaos body. In all the realms of the heavens, many old monsters at the ancestor level are interested. Besides, the young man on the old willow tree in the uninhabited land of fairyland. The first ancestral land, the people in colorful immortal clothes in the ancient immortal palace. The 10th ancestral land, the mysterious creature surrounded by the ancient true dragon. In the underworld, in the ancient bronze palace, there is a young man with white hair. These 4 descendants who received the emperor's seal from the ancient immortal court also used secret methods to watch the battle in the Dao palace from a distance. As the heirs of the emperor's seal, it would be a lie if they said they were not curious about Zhang Chen. There was such a great opportunity now, and seeing Zhang Chen's combat power, they certainly wouldn't miss it. In Tianxian Dao Palace. No wonder he has such strong luck, he actually has the body of a 7-star immortal king. Zhang Chen looked at the Xian Wuodao who had unsealed his immortal body, with a smile on his face. Because of the unsealed Xian Wuodao's immortal body, his luck had increased several times compared to before. This was a big surprise for Zhang Chen. Is naturally a great event. As long as Xian Wuodao is suppressed, the luck and origin obtained will be enough to compare with Gu Yuan Fairyland. Fantasy, Invincible from the Holy Son of the Demon Section Author, 10 miles. Chapter 98. Die. Seeing Zhang Chen in this situation, he was still able to laugh. Xian Wuodao's eyes were full of murderous intent. Without saying a word, he went straight towards Zhang Chen and killed him. Since he dared to be so arrogant, if you don't take the 7-star immortal king body in your eyes, then you have to let Zhang Chen experience the horror of the 7-star immortal king body. Don't think that you can really be invincible with the chaos divine body. Boom. Follow the immortal Wuodao. When he came out, the vision of 7 stars in the sky behind him actually condensed into reality. Along with the earth-shattering sound of bombing, the 7 ancient stars fiercely bombarded down with the pressure of world destruction. The stars passed by, and the void like boiling water, it rolls violently. Time, space, Taoism, rules, etc. are all distorted and turbulent, and may collapse at any time. What a terrible pressure! The expressions of Luo Yuming and other young geniuses changed again and again, and they immediately used escape techniques to escape again. The killing power of Xian Wuodao was so terrifying that it was already comparable to that of the Quasi-Emperor. If they were involved, I'm afraid I'll have to shed my skin even if I don't die. 7 stars rule the world. In the outside world, some older giants exclaimed, recognizing the terrifying killing technique performed by Xian Wuodao. It was the innate magical power of the 7-star immortal king's body. It could summon the 7 ancient stars and directly destroy the world. It could summon the 7 ancient stars. The destruction of the ancient star means that Xian Wuodao's understanding of the 7-star immortal king's body has reached an extremely advanced level. As long as it grows up smoothly, it will definitely be enough to easily stabilize the immortal king's level. Ben. Zhang Chen thought about this, and endless chaos rose into the sky, evolving into a chaotic world. In that chaotic world, there were 2 supreme demon gods billions of feet tall, who came out with unparalleled Taoism. Between heaven and earth, countless time and space methods evolved into time and space chains, layer upon layer of interweaving layers. The 7 powerful ancient stars were all blocked in the void and could not fall even half a cent. Click. After that, there was an ear-shattering sound. The 7 sealed ancient stars were shattered inch by inch, turning into destruction and scattered magic. It's that chaotic world again. In the past, the chaos divine body had never seen anyone perform such an innate magic. The world of chaos can accommodate all kinds of magic. This is a bit like the Taoism of Taisha demon ancestor. When you say that, it does have the aura of Dao fruit. Could it be that Taisha demon son developed his own Tao fruit based on the chaos divine body? No way. His chaotic world had already manifested itself in the immortal old city. Also, at that time, Taisha demon son had just entered the realm of the God King. It was impossible to condense his own Dao fruit so early. Seeing Zhang Chen transforming into a chaotic world and easily blocking the magical power of the 7-star immortal king's body, many external forces started whispering to each other. 9th transformation and return to the Yuan dynasty. Xian Wuodao, who noticed that the 7-star killing technique was blocked, rushed towards Zhang Chen at a non-stop speed, as fast as a ghost. In the heart of Xian Wuodao's palm, there was a condensed of mysterious and dangerous 9 immortal spells. The 9 immortal spells formed an array, and with after a certain orbit moves, a killing formation is formed and blasted out. Emperor Fist. Zhang Chen was not afraid. He formed fists with his hands and activated the 6 paths of reincarnation heavenly kung fu, accompanied by the will of heaven and Dao. After that, all the ancient martial arts and supernatural powers that shocked the world and destroyed the world were integrated into the heavenly emperor's fist. One punch it was smashed out in the air, with supreme killing power as if the heaven and earth were collapsing, like the emperor of heaven. Boom. The battle of violent destruction broke out. Like a tsunami and mountain torrent, the destructive magic swept and exploded unbridled, shaking the world. Zhang Chen and Xian Wuodao were fighting fiercely between heaven and earth. A pair of fists blasted continuously, opening and closing, and the fists had the power to shatter the star field of the universe. A handheld killing array, killing mysteriously, and his moves were enough to kill people. The place of death was full of murderous intent. During the ferocious confrontation, Zhang Chen and Xian Wuodao would continue to use various secret killing techniques. With the two of them as the center, a destructive area appeared, and violent Dao techniques shook like hurricanes. With this kind of combat power is enough to rival the Quasi-Emperor realm. Without relying on external forces, he can rival the Quasi-Emperor simply by relying on his own combat power. Monster. Looking at the killing power of Zhang Chen and Xian Wuodao, countless creatures who witnessed this battle could not hide their shock. The Supreme Being and the Quasi-Emperor realm seem to be only one realm apart. But you must know that the two realms are not in the same realm. One is the Supreme Realm, and the other is the Imperial Realm. There is a gap like a gap in the sky. But Zhang Chen and Xian Wuodao have both crossed the gap and set foot on Quasi-Emperor level. It can be seen that the two of them not only have amazing cultivation talents, but also extremely terrifying combat talents. Is that all you have? After blowing away Xian Wuodao's killing array with one punch, Zhang Chen stopped and looked at Xian Wuodao. With such a calm appearance, it was completely impossible to tell that he had gone through a ferocious fight before. And Zhang Chen's words shocked countless living beings. Could it be that Zhang Chen hasn't gone all out until now? You are nothing more than that. Xian Wuodao raised his eyebrows slightly and spoke indifferently. He could sense that Zhang Chen didn't go all out, just like he didn't attack with all his strength. But Zhang Chen's demeanor made Xian Wuodao even more murderous. Even more. It was an attitude that didn't take him seriously at all. But that's it? Zhang Chen chuckled lightly, and innate chaos Dao patterns appeared on his body. His whole aura changed drastically at this moment. Whoa! The next moment, before Xian Wuodao could react, Zhang Chen had already appeared in front of him. How come? As his eyes narrowed sharply, Xian Wuodao subconsciously formed a seal with his hands to block the immortal curse barrier in front of him. Click! Almost instantly, a clear and crisp sound of breaking resounded. I saw that the barrier of the immortal pinch curse that Xian Wuodao blocked in front of him had been completely shattered, turning into fragments of fairy light that were flying all over the sky. Poof! Zhang Chen's fist power was not blocked, but it struck Xian Wuodao fiercely with destructive power. Xian Wuodao flew backwards, blood spurted out from his mouth, and his sealed hands turned into blood mist. But Xian Wuodao was also an extraordinary person. His hands healed instantly and he looked at Zhang Chen in horror. Although he knew before that Zhang Chen did not go all out. But he did not expect that Zhang Chen would hide so deeply. With such amazing fighting power. Unblock. Immediately, Xian Wuodao did not hesitate at all, and immediately broke out with all his strength. A pressure that was several levels more terrifying than before exploded. Quasi-Emperor Realm. Xian Wuodao's cultivation level has actually passed through the Supreme Realm and truly set foot in the Imperial Realm. These two people must be monsters. Countless creatures who were originally shocked by Zhang Chen's sudden display of power and severely damaged Xian Wuodao couldn't help but froze when they saw Xian Wuodao's cultivation level and his ability to enter the Quasi-Emperor Realm. In spite of the brutal fight in front of him, neither of them gave their best. How are they going to fight? The young talent in the Tianxian Dao Palace could not hide their horror and had a strong intention to retreat. In front of this kind of monster, if they rush in, there is absolutely no other way except to die. Even if an older Quasi-Emperor came in, he would probably have to stop eating in front of them. Sure enough, we have entered the Quasi-Emperor realm. In this case, It's time to end. Sensing the overwhelming pressure of the Emperor realm on Xian Wuodao, Zhang Chen's expression remained as usual. So what if he was in the quasi-emperor realm, he was still suppressing him. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, Invincible from the Holy Son of the Demon Section author, 10 miles. Chapter 99. You must know that when he was in the Suanzun realm, Zhang Chen's combat power was comparable to that of the quasi-emperor realm. Now that he has set foot in the supreme realm, his strength is naturally not comparable to that of the Suanzun realm. Aha! As soon as he finished speaking, Zhang Chen took another step forward, and the time and space magic rippled out like water patterns. Zhang Chen's figure disappeared in front of everyone again, like a ghost disappearing into the sky. Fairy eyes, open. This time, Xian Wuodao, with his condensed eyes, caught Zhang Chen's figure, with a ferocious look in his eyes. Die! At this moment, Xian Wuodao seized the opportunity and directly faced Zhang Chen, who was charging out of the air. When he rushed out, the palms of Xian Wuodao's hands were filled with ancient immortal patterns. After the hands merged, the immortal patterns formed on each other. Condensed, forming a mysterious and strange Taoist cage. In that Taoist cage, there are terrifying Taoist methods that can destroy the star field, which makes people feel frightened. Boom! The Zhang who has not yet escaped from the void Chen was directly blocked and trapped by the Taoist cage. Immediately afterwards, the entire Taoist cage exploded, with a roar like a shocking explosion. The power of violent destruction caused the void to explode. A black hole in space several feet wide appeared. One can imagine how much unparalleled killing power was contained in the Taoist cage sacrificed by Xian Wuodao. That's the world-destroying heavenly prison. The destructive killing technique pioneered by the supreme ancient ancestor of the immortal family. With Xian Wuodao's cultivation, it is impossible for him to develop that kind of killing technique. In his hands, the origin of Taoism is imprinted, probably left by the ancient ancestor of the Xian family. The origin was left by the ancient ancestor of the Xian family, but those killing marks should have been formed by Xian Wuodao himself. Looking at the black hole in space filled with chaotic and destructive fluctuations, countless Taoist traditions outside the secret realm are constantly discussing. Xian Wuodao's cultivation suddenly reached the quasi-emperor realm, which is indeed beyond the surprise of countless living beings. But what really shocked those Taoist traditions, or the world-destroying heavenly prison used by Xian Wuodao? That is the immortal family, the supreme killing technique created by the supreme ancient ancestor, which truly has the power of world-destroying killing. Xian Wuodao only relies on his cultivation at the quasi-emperor realm. It is actually able to be displayed, which is naturally shocking. Taisha Demon's son, wouldn't he be robbed like this? When the destructive killing technique shocked Xian Wuodao, Zhang Chen's life and death also attracted great attention. Judging from the black hole in the space, Zhang Chen's body was no longer alive. But the Taoism of all heavens and realms was some people don't believe that Zhang Chen would die so easily. Because Zhang Chen's performance before was really too evil. Even Xian Wuodao had fairy light condensed in his eyes, and he carefully looked into the black hole in the space. From then on, judging from the aura on his body, it is obvious that he has not relaxed his vigilance and is still concentrating on. Later. Suddenly, an exclamation appeared. It was Luo Yuming from far away, warning loudly. I saw that behind Xian Wuodao, Zhang Chen, who had disappeared before, appeared without any warning. A crystal-clear chaos divine fist shot out with unparalleled killing power. He's really not dead. The moment the sound sounded, Xian Wuodao suddenly noticed it, and immediately used the destruction technique again. Immediately, the void shook violently like the sea, with an impact hundreds of feet high. It can be seen that Xian Wuodao at this time, what a devastating killing power broke out. Click. Unfortunately, although the killing power of Xian Wuodao was strong, it still could not block the divine fist of chaos. The chaotic fairy light flickered. The shock wave hundreds of feet high was penetrated. Xian Wuodao's body shook violently, and he vomited blood wildly. After that, it exploded with blood. Xian Wuodao's whole body was torn into pieces and turned into flesh and blood all over the sky. It was like a rain of blood fell from the sky. In the rain of blood, there are hundreds of millions of chaotic fairy energy raging, completely crushing the true spirit of Xian Wuodao. There is a lesson learned from the experience of Gu Luosha being rescued by the Sea of Samsara in the Gu Yuan fairyland. This time, Zhang Chen immediately defeated Xian Wuodao, obliterating his true spirit. In this way, even if the supreme ancient ancestor of the immortal family takes action, he cannot save the person. Xian Wuodao is dead. The moment they saw it, Xian Wuodao was destroyed, and even the true spirit was wiped out. Outside the Tianxian Dao Palace, the hundreds of millions of Taoists gathered were all shocked and stunned. They were still guessing at the last moment, was Chen Chen killed? Who would have thought that in the blink of an eye, Xian Wuodao, whose cultivation was unsealed and reached the quasi-emperor realm, would be killed by a bombardment. This scene, even if they witnessed it with their own eyes, was quite unbelievable. An unparalleled genius who would be able to enter the ancient ancestor realm in the future, died here like this? Boom! At the moment of Xian Wuodao's death, a terrifying killing power that shook the heavens and the earth broke out in the immortal realm. 9 days the wind and clouds shook. The entire immortal realm clearly felt the overwhelming murderous intent. Fortunately, after a moment, the bone-chilling murderous intent disappeared. That direction is the infinite sky. So, he is the ancient ancestor of the Xian family. Although it only lasted a moment, the hundreds of millions of Taoist traditions that gathered together could clearly sense it. You don't need to guess to know that the murderous intention that can alarm the entire immortal realm must be the ancient ancestor of the immortal family. This also means that, Xian Wuodao was really killed by Zhang Chen. Otherwise, it would be impossible for an existence at the level of the ancient ancestor of the Xian family to be so out of control. This Taisha demon son is truly invincible. This also made countless giants of the older generation look at Zhang Chen with uncontrollable amazement. Xian Wuodao came from the immortal family of immortality. He possesses the body of a 7-star immortal king and has reached the quasi-emperor level. It can be said that regardless of his qualifications or cultivation, he is an immortal. Wuodao is enough to look down upon the immortal realm and frighten hundreds of millions of geniuses. But even such a demonic, monster like Xian Wuodao is easily killed in front of Zhang Chen. Such invincible demeanor makes those ancient creatures, it's like seeing the Taisha demon ancestor from the immortal ancient era. When the Taisha demon ancestor was alive, he also suppressed all the heavens and all realms, and even the supreme ancient ancestor had suppressed him. And this Zhang Chen, once he grows up, can definitely reach the level of the Taisha demon ancestor. The level of ancestors is even stronger. This battle over luck has to end. In the no man's land of the immortal domain, the young man on the willow tree spoke like this. As powerful as the immortal Wuodao, he was killed by Zhang Chen. The other young geniuses who entered the Tianxian Dao Palace naturally cannot be Zhang Chen's opponents. Said to put it bluntly, even if Luo Yuming and others join forces, they will only die. The gap is too big, and it can't be made up by more people. Phew. But before he finished speaking, a green line appeared. The light suddenly appeared and slashed towards Zhang Chen. In the void not far away from Zhang Chen, a young figure came out with an ancient Saiyan sword in his hand. The timing of his attack was extremely tricky, as Zhang Chen restrained his aura, the moment when the mind relaxed. Dang! However, although the attack of the young figure was extremely fierce, it was not effective. Zhang Chen flicked his finger. A crisp sound appeared. The sword came with destructive killing power. The Cyan ancient sword was immediately blown away. Who is that person who dares to attack Taisha demon son? Countless creatures in the outside world were shocked and stared at each other. Even monsters like Xian Wuodao were brutally suppressed and killed by Zhang Chen, but there are still people who dare to take action against Zhang Chen. This breath. Zhang Chen's eyes flashed slightly as he looked at the young man who appeared. He sensed a familiar aura fluctuation from the young figure. That's the fluctuation of the ancient immortal court emperor's seal. So, this person is one of the 5 descendants of immortal court. Fantasy, Invincible from the Holy Son of the Demon Section author, 10 miles. Chapter 100. This discovery made Zhang Chen interested. He was still worried that he could not find other successors of the Emperor's seal. Now that someone is coming to his door, this is naturally what he wants. Wrong. But when Zhang Chen's double eyes emerged and he looked at the young figure, his expression suddenly changed slightly. Although this young figure has the aura of the Emperor's seal on his body, it is not the true body. In other words, this is just a Dharma body. The true body does not come, but only the purpose of this test was obvious after sending out a Dharma body. The interest in Zhang Chen's eyes also gradually dissipated. A Dharma body was useless even if it was suppressed. He could neither gain his origin nor luck, nor could he win the immortal court emperor's seal. This aura, is it from the underworld? At this moment, the no man's land of the immortal domain, the first ancestral land, and the 10th ancestral land are all the descendants of the emperor's seal. Compared to Zhang Chen, who has just become the descendant of the immortal court, the 4 of them are familiar with each other. Much more. Because they had become the heirs of the immortal court a long time ago. They had just been waiting for the time when the 5 seals would become one. Naturally, the 3 young people from the willow tree recognized the attacking young man at a glance. Silhouette. What do you think you can test out of me with just one Dharmakaya? Zhang Chen looked at the young man's figure and spoke calmly, with no fighting spirit in his eyes. Chi. The young man's figure did not speak. The green ancient sword in his hand flashed, and billions of sword energy slashed out. At this moment, the young man's figure, together with that billions of sword energy merge into one, making it impossible for anyone to find the true body. The human sword merges into one. This is a very high artistic conception in the field of swordsmanship. It has to be said that although it is only the law body, the combat power of this young figure is still extremely impressive. Terrifying. Although it has not reached the level of immortal Wuodao, it is still enough to easily suppress the ordinary quasi-emperor. This is enough to show how terrifying the combat power of the successor of the emperor's seal in the nether realm has reached. Die. In response to this, Zhang Chen stood still as usual, not even making any movements, just raising his eyelids slightly. In those double pupils, billions of divine symbols flashed, intertwined, and filled the air, creating a mysterious and unpredictable killing power. There was a boom and explosion in the billions of sword energy, there was an ear-splitting sound of bombing. What followed was the terrifying impact of destructive Taoism. The young figure who merged into the sword energy had no time to react and was wiped out with a glance. Ancient eyes. This has caused countless creatures to feel strong fear. The person with double eyes in ancient times is known as the reincarnation of a god, and he can be invincible in the sky and on the earth. Now it seems that those rumors are not false at all. You know, with the combat power of that young figure, even if it is just a Dharma body, its combat power is strong enough to fight against the elders in the quasi-emperor realm. But in front of the heavy pupil, it was killed at a glance. It can be seen that the ancient heavy pupil has such a shocking and terrifying killing power. Taisha demon son should not be underestimated. In the nether realm, in the ancient bronze tower, the young man with white hair opened his eyes slightly, with a strange flash of color in his eyes. He thought he could seize the opportunity of Xian Wuodao being suppressed and kill Zhang Chen. The immortal court emperor's seal. In the end, nothing was caught. However, the white-haired young man was not too surprised. When he saw Zhang Chen's shocking combat power before, he already had this. He was mentally prepared. However, Zhang Chen's rapid growth gave him a strong fear. Judging from the terrifying talent Zhang Chen showed, it is estimated that he will be able to aspire to the imperial realm in a short time. By that time, Zhang Chen will become a real threat to them. Except for the white-haired young man, all the descendants of the Emperor's seal in the immortal domains No Man's Land, the first ancestral land, and the 10th ancestral land are also. They are paying more and more attention to Zhang Chen. To put it bluntly, if Zhang Chen is not too young and suffers from too little cultivation, then Zhang Chen's current cultivation level is probably enough to rival them. Tianxiandao Palace. Sure enough, I can't get luck and origin. After killing the young figure, Zhang Chen looked at Luo Yuming and other young geniuses. This time he came to Tianxiandao Palace. In addition to competing for innate luck, he also wanted to rob other people's origins. For these Zhang Chen would not show mercy to those who blocked the entrance to the heavenly immortal Dao Palace and wanted to hunt him. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. One chi turned into 3 pure beings and activated them. The 3 true bodies condensed out, carrying overwhelming killing power and killing with incomparable ferocity. Zhang Chen himself didn't watch the show either. He set his sights on Luo Yuming, the descendant of the Lake of the Dead. The nether immortal body was one of the top 10 immortal bodies in the immortal realm. That kind of origin and luck were naturally far beyond what ordinary young prodigies could match. Compared. As the cultivation level becomes stronger, the system's requirements for luck and origin are also getting higher and higher. Even if the luck and origin of ordinary geniuses are plundered, they will not get any useful chance treasures. Immediately, a brutal killing occurred in the Tianxiandao Palace. In order to prevent Luo Yuming and others from escaping, they put up layers of barriers at the entrance of the Dao Palace. Now, those barriers that are difficult to break have become a roadblock to their escape. Escape. The moment he was stared at by Zhang Chen, Luo Yuming's body was icy cold to the bone. He didn't think about breaking through the barrier, but immediately offered an ancient formation diagram and stepped into the formation diagram. Bang long. Almost at the same time, the deafening sound of bombing resounded throughout the world. Most of Luo Yuming, who was still outside the ancient formation diagram, was directly shattered along with the formation diagram. It was Zhang Chen who used the Chaos Divine Fist to kill it with force. The descendant of Lake of the Dead is also dead. Not necessarily, that formation diagram is a bit weird, it seems to be able to seal the true spirit. Even though there is still a true spirit, its netherworld immortal body is completely destroyed. Countless living beings outside saw this, and the heated discussion became even louder. Zhang Chen, who was going on a killing spree, was like the ancient demon god coming to the world, and no one could stop his sharp edge. This generation in immortal realm is quite unlucky. Indeed, from the sea of reincarnation, to the immortal family of immortality, to the lake of the dead, the top descendants of Tianjiao were all suppressed by Taisha demon. This is called the turn of events. The immortal realm has been standing at the top of the 10,000 realms for too long, and it's time to change its position. Even those ancient giants couldn't help but speak out. There is no doubt that it is Tianyu's turn to decide the fate of this life. Because Zhang Chen alone is enough to overwhelm his peers in Wanyu. If Zhang Chen does not avoid Zhang Chen in the immortal domain and other large domains, they will not be able to win even a single bit of luck. And after getting the luck of this life, the heaven territory will definitely usher in a big explosion. After all, the foundation of the heaven territory is the existence second only to the immortal realm in the great realm of the heavens. It's over. The killing in the secret realm of the Dao Palace did not last long. Zhang Chen did not pursue and kill those young prodigies who fled in all directions and escaped into the secret realm. Anyway, almost all the most talented sources of luck have already fell into his hands. Naturally, there was no need to pay too much attention to the rest of the small fish and shrimps. After that, Jiang Chen smashed the barrier at the entrance of the Dao lineage with one punch and disappeared in one step. This kind of gap is not on the same level at all. In the secret realm of Dao Palace, in the far distance, a figure appeared. It was Zhang Jinghong, who cultivated the innate spiritual pupils in the Wuji immortal sect. He had always been low-key and cautious. He had already seen Zhang Chen and Xian Wuodao. When Mi Shi was fighting, he immediately ran away. This also allowed him to avoid disaster. Otherwise, with his qualifications, he would not have been able to escape Zhang Chen's hunt.